Hello, James here. Hope you're doing well on this day, on this special day for some people with their loved one or on this holiday. And hope you have a good Valentine's Day on this February 24th, 2024. This topic today I want is rising up between between the black community and these other communities. It's not white, this not white people, but immigrants. I'm gonna share this video and I'll come back with my commentary. Shout out to her channel.
Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a glorious day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, today I'm going to address something that I have addressed before, but I want to address it in a different way, and that is why black immigrants say black Americans don't have culture. Now, that is something that has offended all of us. We have been very offended by that because we have a large culture. We have probably the largest and most recognizable culture in the world. So we are offended when other blacks say we don't have culture. And I say black because I identify as black, as African American, as ADOS, and I respect my other African Americans or black Americans regardless to what you identify as. So let's get that clear. As far as I'm concerned, you're all my people, and I'm your people, in a sense. But what I'm saying is that we are offended by it when they say we don't have culture. What we don't recognize is the part that we have played in them coming to that conclusion. And I have been guilty of this myself because it's true. What do we say? We say we lost our language, we lost our tribe, we lost our country, we lost our name, we lost our family, we lost everything. Well, they interpret that as your culture. What we don't add to that is we had to build another kind of culture in the United States. As far as our own language is concerned, we would have been happy to keep our own language, except that was prohibited under the slave system. So we had to adapt to the English language, and trust and believe, we don't speak English like they speak English. Because when we start talking to each other and get wound up just right, white Americans have no idea what we're saying, and neither does anybody else for that matter. What we can call that is our own style of speaking, because they don't know what we're talking about when we start talking to each other and start talking, especially if you're talking fast. So we had to create our own language system and our own way of life, and within the backdrop of a dominant society that was very oppressive and brutal, really brutal. But what we can call ourselves is survivors. We survived that system, and we are very proud of how we came out of that system, because we didn't come out of the system empty-handed. We didn't have any money, but we were blessed in ways that you cannot imagine that people who were in a captivity system would be blessed. But we don't appreciate it. That's the problem. And when the Africans say that they don't say it in these words, but they say it in a way that you really don't appreciate what you have. The Africans will say that. to Black Americans, you don't appreciate what you have. Now, they have different ways of saying that, but that's what they say. But they don't understand the trauma and the heartbreak that our family members went through, and some of us handled it better than others. Some of us were traumatized by that. The fact that so many Black Americans keep trying to go to Africa to escape what happened here is testament to the fact that some of us handle that system better and continue to handle it better than others. But the point I'm trying to get across in this video is that we have given them that information by telling them we lost everything. And everything that we lost means culture. We lost our culture. So that is a fact. But what they won't recognize, or seemingly they don't recognize it, or they don't process it because we're not adding it. We have a whole new culture. We became a whole new group of people. We're not from one African country, one African tribe, with one African language. We're from many nations, many tribes, and many languages. And with that, we have created an enormous culture that we are very proud of, that includes everything that we did in this country before, during, and after slavery. And when I say before, because I just shared on my Black American Lineage channel that America is now acknowledging that the Spaniards brought Black people to South Carolina in 1526. And they stayed there and mingled among the indigenous people. So see, they had been telling us that before, but now that information is being shared. So I'm saying Black people were doing things before, during, and after slavery. We have a huge body of work in the United States, and that's culture. That's culture. There is so much in our history that it would take several lifetimes to really document it. But we are still whining and complaining. Black people will go right up to Africans who just got here, who left under a traumatic situation themselves, and Black Americans will go right, and I'm not talking about everybody, but some of us will go right up to those people and start whining and complaining about what our family members went through in slavery, when the African family might just not be coming out of tragedy themselves. So I'm just trying to offer a different point of view. Instead of getting angry when they say we don't have culture, step back and see, what have I said, or what has other African Americans said that would make them say we don't have culture. We are telling them we don't have culture by what we say when we tell them what we lost. But what we're not adding with strength is that we had to create a new culture and a number of subcultures. We're not one monolithic people. When you see some of this garbage that's coming out of the rap industry, that's one aspect of the Black American culture. That's not everybody. That's not everybody. So that is something that we have to be conscious of what we're saying to people. And also I hear them say, well, they don't ever say Jamaicans don't have culture. No, because Jamaicans don't say they don't have culture. Jamaicans don't go around saying they don't have culture. They say, I'm Jamaican, I'm a Rasta man, or I'm this, and they big up their culture. And it's because they are a majority Black country. We understand that. But Jamaicans don't feel like, they don't operate like they feel like they've lost anything. Haitians don't operate like they feel like they've lost anything. Haitians have lost more than anybody in terms of just sheer power. They've won a revolution against the French, and they have been paying the price for it ever since. But they are proud of 1804. One of these days we're going to have a real discussion about 1804. but they're proud of it. They don't talk about we lost our culture. I don't think they do. And Haitians are speaking a kind of French dialect. I'm not sure what they call it, Creole or whatever.
Creole.
Jamaicans are speaking in an English patois, but the Caribbean countries are very proud of their countries because they are majority black countries. So they don't complain about what they lost, even though they came through the slave system too. But they found their bearing, and they don't complain about their countries like black Americans do. And Jamaicans are being United States and been here in second and third generation talking about I'm Jamaican, I'm a Jamaican, I'm from Jamaica. So to the point that Asian woman an Asian woman came on a YouTube channel and told them you don't live in Jamaica, you are not Jamaican. As if to say you're not paying taxes here, you're not adding to the economy, you're not adding to the educational system. You are not a Jamaican. Stop calling yourself a Jamaican. The Jamaicans got mad about that, but the Asian woman was making a point. And so you really need to rep the country that you're living in. Like Ilhan Omar about to get kicked out of this country. I don't think they'll kick her out, but they want to deport her because she's living in the United States, taking advantage of the resources of the United States, occupying a seat in the United States Congress that should be occupied by somebody who has Americans' interest at heart and not some foreign country. So I'm saying, I got off track a little bit, but I want to wrap this up by saying that black Americans, we have to be aware of what we're saying to other people. We have to stop complaining about America. Yes, we lost. We lost everything, but we've gained something in the process. We gained something because we earned it. We earned something, and we earned something that we should be proud of. We have tenacity, we have resilience, we have creativity, and we have humility. We care about each other more so than some of these people from these other countries. Now, I do admire the fact that Ilhan Omar does care about Somalia. She cares about her homeland. But some of these people come over here, and the people back in their country are suffering at 45 and 50% poverty rate, and they're over here bragging about what they're doing, where their people are suffering. But in Black America, we were trained that we should care about each other. Each one, teach one. During slavery, it had been against the law for them to learn how to read and write, even though some of them had learned how to read and write in spite of that law. But the responsibility for those who knew how to read and write was to teach the others, even if it was just one. The black fraternities and sororities were founded on this principle. As you learn, teach the others. We have a culture. We don't have an African culture. We have an African American culture, which is to say that the Africans who can, an African American, by the way, is an American. So they'll be saying, you're not an African, you're not an African, you're not an African, you weren't born in Africa. You're absolutely right, we're not Africans. We're Americans. And that's how come we say African American. They had to make their way as Africans in America. And it was an America that was very brutal to them. And yet they survived, and still we rise. And that has to be the message. Stop whining. We can talk to each other about our trauma, but the world does not respect it. Because they have their own trauma, okay? They have their own trauma. So I wanted to add another.
Are you having trouble paying for healthcare, rent, gas, groceries, and other bills? Then you've got to see this. The government is basically giving me $1,300 in premium credit.
The jokes write themselves.
This video is brought to you by the Spider Combat Arena. Support the Kickstarter today.
my goodness. So, one of y'all hit me up in my DMs on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't. Talking about Lucas, you gotta check out this interview. You gotta check out this interview. The diaspora is united against the buffoonery in this interview. And I'm like, okay, let me check out this video. And sure enough, the title of the video, I knew it was gonna be fun once I saw the title. Kenyan man destroys Black America. I don't know what to tell you, bro. These mofos is evil, bro. These demons is evil. That is the craziest thing I've heard in my life. Because I want you to understand. Can you explain to me why on earth would you be interviewing a Kenyan man to talk on FBA business? Does that make any sense to you? Now, would you interview me to talk on Kenyan business? As far as, hey, this is what's going on, Kenyan men are weak. Would you do that? Of course not. Of course not. It would make no sense. No sense. But you have this Saltine interviewing this man, and this dude is going through all of the talking points. Oh my goodness. What it is, and you see this very often, especially in politics, is that what you have is a representative tool. That's what I coined them as, representative tool. And what that means is you need someone who represents the group that you're going to malign, right? In this case, he doesn't have to be Black American, but he's Black, right? Or in some cases, they don't even have to be Black, they just have to look Black. It just needs to be a representation of the group that you want to malign in some way, shape or form or fashion, something. You couple that with the tool, right? We got the representation, now we need the tool. And what the tool is that this person is going to regurgitate and repeat all of the narratives and the talking points you want them to, which makes them a tool, which then transforms this representative tool into a propaganda machine. And that's what this interview was. It was nothing more than anti-Black propaganda, okay? And the beautiful thing is, here's the beautiful thing. This is the hustle. This hustle is as old as time, all right? These saltines, these demons have been doing this for quite some time. What they do is feign ignorance. You'll see this, who does this? Kundis Owens does this all the time, right? They'll feign ignorance. Why, I'd like to know what's going on. Tell me what's happening. Why aren't Black people killing one another? Why is that going on? Can you tell me? They feign ignorance, knowing that the representative tool is going to repeat the talking points that they want to repeat, which goes in line with their narrative, which makes it propaganda. That's all it is. It's a propaganda piece. That's all this is. You have this little saltine talking about, well, this is what you said, right? Why do you believe that just Black people are dumb? I mean, those are your words, okay? Those are your words.
And you're saying essentially that Black people are cursed in some way. Like, God and the devil conspired to just say, Black people are dumb.
Yes.
I'm just paraphrasing what you said.
And boy, goodness, they so evil, bro. It's so evil. I want to go over just a cursory glance at this interview because it's really, I had to laugh. I just had to laugh because the whole dynamic of this interview is comedy. I thought this was going to be a comedy skit. That's what I thought it was at first. Mind you, this man has been in the States for less than 2 years. I kid you not. This man has been in the States, United States of America, for less than 2 years.
I've been in this country for 2 years. I have a Mercedes-Benz S550.
Huh?
Do not let them raise your rates. Now, I used to fall victim to outrageous...
And is having an interview with this saltine trying to talk about, he's destroying Black America. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I don't know what to tell you. And you have Kenyans in the comment section talking about, what are you talking about? How are you gonna talk about an experience that you've never had? Right? You have Kenyans getting on him. You have FBA, Black Americans getting on him. Bro, this man has united the diaspora against his tap dance and buffoonery. Okay? But nevertheless, this individual starts talking about how everyone takes advantage of us. Now,
Are we doing well? No, we're not. Right? Everybody comes in and takes advantage of us. So why are we pretending that we're doing well? We're not doing well.
let's just pause right there. Let's just pause just for a quick second. Because I want you to understand, they have managed to condition us as a people to believe that that makes them some type of intelligence, that makes them, there's some type of a superiority factor in deceit. And if you look at this country, look at America today, what is it? Nothing but corruption, nothing but manipulation, nothing but deceit, okay? Duplicitousness all over. And that's what they favor. That's what they, as far as put on top of the pedestal. Now, upon you being susceptible to such wicked, vile behavior, now you're the bad person, right? Now you're inferior because you fell for the evil person's tricks. Now make that make sense. Okay? How are you going to put on a pedestal the corruptive, manipulative behavior of a group and then malign the one group who actually believes them, the innocent nature of the other group, who's actually being taken advantage of? It doesn't make any sense. But like I said, evil does as evil does, bro. This person is clearly a lineage of evil, unfortunately. You have a lineage of evil talking to another individual who has a lineage of evil. But then he goes on talking about abortion. He's talking about, right, he goes on to talk about abortion. They're killing their own. You know, I'm more likely to get killed by someone who looks like me than I am by you.
The rate of abortions is highest in the black community in America. There's a higher chance of me being killed by a black man in this country of yours than by somebody who looks like you.
Once again, bro, once again, I used to think this until I actually did some due
Where's the
diligence
data
and
on
started
that?
looking at the data. Because the data and what they say are two different things. It's two different things. Because when they talk about abortion, if you look into it as far as why do black women get abortions, it's due to finances. Now, where do those finances come from? Where does that problem stem from? It stems from, as far as reparations. It stems from the generational wealth gap that we have. Okay? But if you mention that, what did these saltines do? That's excuses. They have managed to weaponize history for their benefit. They have managed, think about what I'm saying. They have managed to promote inaction. They have glorified inaction by weaponizing excuses. That's what they have done. Because if you tell them, hey, this is why this is, well, then they respond to what? Excuses. By them labeling it as excuses, what does that now give them? It gives them freedom, right? Now, it alleviates them from responsibility. This is how demonic these people are. They have done everything in their power to do manipulative tactics to alleviate them from any type of responsibility that they have caused to us as a people. And they have done that by simply putting it back on us. You're a slave? Well, hey, that's an excuse. Stop making excuses. That's what they're doing. This is what this is. If you listen to any psychologist speak, this is an abuse tactic. This is what abusers do. These people, as I said, a lineage of evil, they have managed to make us to make it seem that it is our responsibility for their wickedness. Because they have caused wickedness upon us and to the detriment of our community. That is our fault. That is our fault. Their wicked behavior is our fault. The outcome from their wicked behavior is our fault. That's sick. That's really demonic. That's twisted perversion. And that's what they do. And he talks about when it comes to a black person, intraracial crime is exactly that. Not interracial, intraracial, within the group. Black people usually typically live around other black people. So guess what happens when crime goes down? Black. White people typically live around other white people. So guess what happens when crime goes down? White. But they expect you not to know this, and that's what many within the Republican and the Democrat do, is that they play off of your ignorance. You are a prey to them. An ignorant person is prey to a knowledgeable person. And that's what they do, and they manipulate you. Honestly, it's emotional terrorism. That's what they're doing. It's emotional terrorism because they are grooming you intellectually to be against you.
Hey, do you want to start a coffee dropshipping business? It's actually easier.
The migrant crisis is all over the news. That's why you ain't hearing about this $5,400 spending card that Uncle Sam.
It's nothing. So you catch it up. It's gone.
I believe you because but beggars are not choosers. If you don't have the right papers to work, then you should be able to choose.
Listen, that's back in the 80s. We're not a slave. And doesn't matter, you gotta pay for legal, so not legal. Working is work. You still wanna go to work, you still wanna go through, and it's just the right for everything. Longer you work, you get paid. You're supposed to get paid the right money, no matter what. Paid or no paid. Because your life and life is time. Your time is your life.
True, but so you don't think that the migrants crisis is affecting New Jersey?
Let me tell you something. To the government.
Yeah.
Boy, they need to figure it out. They're giving payment. Those people, they're coming new from the legally. They don't have no crime in the United States. They don't have no crime. They never go to court, but they might a lot of them are criminal. And they open the door. They having people here. They've been working for over 20 years. And they know who they are. Why they don't give you the paper to the people's here? Why they give it to the paper? People that coming. The people that come and they got more right than the people that been working all his life in here.
But remember, you have a lot of people who apply legally and waiting to get green card legally. So they can't just get people coming like that.
They need to think better. People that lose all the energy here and they don't got no right. They get locked up or even ticket, Valencia or anything, they go report it. And those people that come and they giving all the Venezuela, they be destroying New York.
Yeah.
They're giving all the paper, they're giving place to stay, they're giving social. You have people here, they've been working for 15, 20 years and nobody recognizes them. The government, they don't even see them.
Now, you heard him, right? He said black men are difficult. Black people are difficult. And if a black man demands a certain salary, he's difficult. But this man said he wants $200 a day. So what you're saying is it's okay for your Latino ass to expect a certain income, but if a black man who was born and raised here asks for a certain income, he's difficult. You hear this BS? You hear this garbage? Yeah. People like him round his ass up and get him the hell up on out of here. No, you know, this is unbelievable. So a migrant that comes here has determined a black man, he's too difficult to work with, so don't hire him at all. You know what? See, when they come out and say stuff like this, the feds should go in there and come down on their ass, just like they would any other business that refused to hire a black man or a black woman. The feds ain't doing their jobs up in here. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Anybody that openly say they won't hire a black person and this guy got every stereo, oh, he's difficult, they're difficult, then the feds need to come in on these people. Okay? You got federal laws in place that's against what he just said. And if he's going to be here in this country as an immigrant, he's got to abide by the law. So you can't be picky and choosy when it comes down to hiring. And this is exactly what he's coming out in the open and saying. But I think he got a lot of nerve. You, in one instance, a black man, oh, he wants X amount of money and he's too difficult. And then he says, well, you guys won't work for no more than less than $200 a day. Well, that's right. That's right. We got stuff to pay for. What, a black man don't have stuff to pay for? They got rent too. They gotta eat too. They probably got kids too. But it's okay for you. You see this garbage? But it just goes to show you how far and wide racism really truly goes. And this Jamaican guy is calling him out. He got a business. There are no black people working at his business. Everybody working at his business are Latino. And won't hire a black man because he said they too difficult. How much you want to bet? He probably never even worked around black men the whole time he been here. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? These people got a lot of nerve, y'all. This is the world we live in. This is what they are importing in this country. And when they get here, they already got a problem with us. Even in New York, those illegal migrants that are committing all these crimes, and they got the nerve to have issues with black folk. Yeah, they want 1,000 a week, but if a black man says he wants a certain amount, and maybe because he got the experience and know the job or know how to manage that particular job, he is difficult. You know, a black man, I guess a black man is too difficult and he can't have the income he needs to live off of. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, y'all. Here's the link for anybody that want to come up. If you got a comment, you can come on the panel. Just copy and paste the link. If you can't click on it. Copy and paste the link if you can't click on it. Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. See, they do. If you're going to come over here with those kind of attitudes, especially towards the black population, yeah, they need to get their ass the hell up on out of here then. That ain't, you know, and I'm getting sick of Israelites, and let me get this out. I'm getting sick and tired of certain Israelites that are telling me these hateful immigrants are our brothers and sisters. Even the ones that are coming out and telling you they don't like black people, you're telling me that's Issachar and I'm supposed to love them. Y'all need to go somewhere, and I want y'all out of my comment section. If you see those kind of people coming, from now on, I want my moderators to block them. I want them the hell up on out of here, and I really truly mean it. If you are a moderator, when you see that, I want you to get these people the hell up on out of here, for real. I don't want them in my comment section. Hello, Trayvon Jones. Can you hear me? Trayvon, can you hear me? Hi, your mic is breaking up really bad.
I'm gonna stop it right here. I've been trying to figure out, but yet I see a lot of black Americans go to their countries and spend money, and they go down there, contribute to the economy like white Americans do, and this is how the way they come to our country and say some stupid shit like this. And I mean, like the traveling people who travel and they work an income, they go over there respectfully. You get a few knuckleheads once in a while that do some stupid stuff, but how can you say something like that when they contribute to your economy, you know? And black people and some of them black Americans have gone down there, try to understand the language, the culture, and everything. But yet, some of the same people come up here with that mindset, that run up here with the mindset of escaping, instead of dealing with their own issues and their own problems. I find that really really interesting that they can have certain people can have that kind of mindset that come up here and they don't know the whole story. They don't, you just people make comments, and they, instead of really, before making comments, it's like me leaving America, being a citizen in another country for a certain amount of time, thinking I know everything because there's certain, things that their government will give me. And just sit back and be a citizen in that country and sit there and say, well, these people are lazy. It's like, for real? And I don't know the whole history, the politics, why, and anything. I mean, it's ridiculous that anybody would come over here with that mindset and don't know the whole story. And one thing about black people, some of us, we hear that we have a good understanding and empathy about other people, but it's just crazy that we get shitted on like that by people, and they don't know the whole story, and then they find out the hard way, because there have been some people that's been here for a while and they got dealt with the very people you say that killed with, that got, well, I would kill him by a black is false. Because why did that young woman that killed that one guy that his second generation Nigerian, and he went on a date with this woman, and she turned out to be psycho, and she was white, and she jumped on him, and she ended up killing him. It was the Congolese people out there in Colorado. You had 3 white teen, I think one Latino, I believe, 2 white teenagers burn up their house. And this was in a suburb in Colorado. And I remember I did the video about this years ago. I ain't never seen no black Americans have jumped on a bunch of immigrants at high numbers here, cause any conflict among them. I've never, very seldom I see it. But when they go out to the suburbs, who the people they trying to emulate and ass kiss, this is what they do. But I'm gonna shut this argument down, because I'm gonna show you 2 examples how in past years and present year what happened recently with some black Americans. Because I'm gonna shut this argument down. First, you gotta go in the past.
There is a huge boom like we've never seen.
And I'm gonna show you what's in the present.
Local 50 is not. What if we tell you that the famous executive order that proposed 40 acres and a mule for newly liberated slaves can be implemented today? Officially called Special Field Orders Number 15. This policy advocated giving 40 acres of land and a mule to each newly liberated black slave in the United States. However, this executive order was not implemented. Today, many believe that it was suspended and made legally null and void. However, the truth is it's more like a fire with a preserved spark that can reignite the fire. In other words, the executive order was not suspended but simply not implemented. This leaves a space where it can be implemented at any time, and all black African Americans would get 40 acres of land and a mule. But is it really possible? Can a non-implemented order be brought back to life? Well, what we will tell you about this in this video will change how you think about 40 acres and a mule policy. Let's get started.
The Black History Archives.
What do you expect for your community? That's the question Secretary of War Edwin M. Stanton suggested Union General William T. Sherman asked 20 black pastors in Savannah, Georgia, as the Civil War drew to a close and enslaved African Americans approached freedom. The black leaders gathered for a meeting on January 12, 1865, with military officials in a mansion known as the Green Meldrum House. There, they conveyed their hesitancy to live among white people, concerned that racial prejudice would persist in the South for years. Instead, they expressed a desire to reside among themselves on their own land, involving the redistribution of Southern plantation owners' land. The best way we can take care of ourselves is to have land and cultivate it through our own labor, said Garrison Frazier, a 67-year-old Baptist minister and spokesperson for the group, which included individuals who had been enslaved and lived as free men alike. We want to be placed on land until we are able to buy it and make it our own, Frazier told the Union military officials. This was the time when the idea of having land and forging a black community came to someone's mind. Note that they did not ask for paper money or anything else but land because black people knew it was the only thing that held value. They knew if they were to grow and unite, they would need land. Stanton recognized the historical significance of the meeting, noting that government officials, for the first time, had asked about the desires of black Americans for themselves. He provided the meeting minutes to Henry Ward Beecher, brother of Uncle Tom's Cabin author Harriet Beecher Stowe. After Beecher shared the notes with his New York church congregation, the New York Daily Tribune published a transcript in its February 13, 1865 edition, creating a historical record that still exists today. The Christian Recorder, a black publication, also printed the transcript. The idea of acquiring land from Southern enslavers was not limited to the leaders at the Green Meldrum House meeting. Abolitionists Charles Sumner and Thaddeus Stevens had advocated for this idea as a means to financially cripple Confederate landowners. However, Savannah's black leaders are credited by Harvard historian Henry Louis Gates for spearheading the subsequent events. After the meeting with the ministers, Sherman signed Field Order 15 on January 16, 1865. The order reserved 400,000 acres of Confederate land for the formerly enslaved population. When the land was redistributed near the southeast coast, each family would receive 40 acres of tillable ground. Although the order did not mention mules, some of the formerly enslaved population were granted army mules, leading to this reparations program being widely known as 40 acres and a mule. The freedmen immediately began working their new land, with a group of 1,000 settling on Georgia's Skidaway Island. In the subsequent months, as many as 40,000 freedmen settled on the redistributed land. They were able to parcel it out to some of the former slaves, but for the most part, this dream was never realized, said the Valerie Grimm, Director of Undergraduate Studies, African American and African Diaspora Studies, and Professor at Indiana University, Bloomington. The commitment fell apart after President Lincoln's assassination. Following Abraham Lincoln's death on April 15, 1865, President Andrew Johnson nullified Field Order 15. He handed back the 400,000 acres of land, described as a strip of coastline stretching from Charleston, South Carolina to the St. Johns River in Florida, including Georgia's Sea Islands and the mainland 30 miles in from the coast, to Confederate owners. Roy L. Brooks, a distinguished law professor at the University of San Diego School of Law, portrayed Johnson as a segregationist aiming to push African Americans into a subordinate position. However, Johnson wasn't the only politician opposing reparations for black Americans in this manner. After the Civil War, there wasn't much interest in black reparations, explains Brooks. There were other proposals for reparations for African Americans after the war, but Congress declined to proceed with them. It wasn't just Johnson. There was a prevailing sentiment in Congress that African Americans should be satisfied with their newfound freedom. Here's a reminder to please support us so we can make more videos for you by subscribing to our channel and giving the video a like. We want to build a strong community and we need your support. Let's continue now. Post-Civil War, the 3.9 million formerly enslaved individuals, lacking their own land, grappled with shaping their own future. Many found themselves working on white people's land as sharecroppers or tenant farmers, a system only slightly better than slavery, given the meager wages and exploitation involved. The widespread emergence of sharecropping in the South occurred because blacks couldn't secure the land they expected the federal government to provide. In other words, black people became workers in the very land they were owners of before. In the sharecropping system, individuals worked the land for a share of the crop, which rarely benefited black workers after covering all production costs. While some black individuals defied the odds and became landowners, most had no land to pass on, hindering the accumulation of multi-generational wealth and leaving them largely under the control of Southern white landowners. You see, the unfulfilled promise of 40 acres and a mule denied African Americans the chance to attain financial self-sufficiency, crucial for resisting the Jim Crow policies of the local government in the South, according to Brooks. It was the day when it was openly declared that the United States was never a country for black people. It was declared that even if black people were promised prosperity and rights, they would be stripped of them whenever white people wanted to. Nullifying the 40 acres and a mule policy explicitly showed that. Henry Louis Gates Jr., American literary critic and professor, said that the commitment marked the first systematic attempt to provide a form of reparations to newly freed slaves, and it was remarkably radical for its time, proto-socialist in its implications. Indeed, such a policy would be considered radical in any country today where the federal government's extensive confiscation of private property, around 400,000 acres, formerly owned by Confederate landowners, and its methodical redistribution to former black slaves. But sadly, this promise was never kept. Historian John David Smith says that this teaches us how black people were treated in 19th century America. Moreover, it is important to remember that the freed people desperately wanted land, believed that they had been deceived, and felt betrayed. The legacy of that sense of betrayal lingers on. By the 1870s, blacks had abandoned hope of federal land redistribution, but many still saw 40 acres and a mule as the key to freedom. Today, the phrase 40 acres and a mule has come to symbolize the broken promise that Reconstruction policies would offer economic justice for African Americans. The 40 acres and a mule promise featured prominently in the class action racial discrimination lawsuit of Pickford versus Glickman. In his opinion, Federal Judge Paul L. Friedman ruled that the United States Department of Agriculture had discriminated against African American farmers and wrote, 40 acres and a mule. The government broke that promise to African American farmers. Over 100 years later.
Hey, any immigrant listen to this that says something about us? We're lazy? Oh, we privileged, huh? We privileged. Look what happened. We privileged, huh? And you think, oh, you said, well, that's just the past. Let me tell you what happened recently.
This is why you need to start living paper instead of houses.
You see, there's this wild real estate trick.
Watch this. But we don't work, right? We lazy, right? To some of these people that say the stupid shit. Watch this.
Clearly, America is not a racist country.
We're not a racist country, Brian. We've never been a racist country.
This is Chef Ashley Shanty. You know, I looked her up and she seems to have a very good reputation. Well, she decided to open a restaurant in Asheville, North Carolina, and she has since been targeted by white supremacists. You know, you say pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and this is exactly what she's doing. And look at what they do when you do pull yourself up by the bootstraps. So a highly acclaimed chef, Ashley Shanty, opened Good Hot Fish. And she opened her restaurant on January 20th, 2024 in Asheville's South Slope neighborhood. The restaurant preserves and celebrates Black history through its food and decor, bringing Southern fish camps and gullah cuisines to Asheville. And this is like a beer brewing district that she's in, and it covers. Now they said she has been in magazines. She has been in magazines. So, like I said, she sounds like she's pretty good at what she does. So, when you go in the restaurant, they said it's the sounds of Black jazz and photos of, you know, Black historians, you know, on the walls. It sounds very nice, actually. Sounds very nice. On February 3rd, Shanty claims a group of people tried to interrupt her business with racist acts. In February 6th, on that day, Instagram post through the restaurant's account, Shanty and the group defaced Good Hot Fish entrance with a racist sticker and cut the power to her newly opened restaurant. And, you know, from what she's saying, people were in there eating when this happened. Last Saturday, around closing time, a group of racists were doing what they do best and decided to shut the power off to our dining room while our last guests were enjoying their dinner, Shanti said. They then ran away like cowards when confronted by a guest and an employee, but not before outfitting our entrance with a disgusting sticker. The sticker read, "How to ruin a white city," in the bottom. So above the lettering, there were 4 black and white buildings. In the right-hand corner, there was a hand holding a racial slur. Falling out of the can are small illusions of people. On the cuff of the sleeve, there was a Star of David. So this was on this little sticker. So of course she called the police. Asheville Police Department spokesperson Samantha Booth told the Citizen Times on the 8th of February that the police were investigating the incident. Shanti told Eaters, Carolina online food news and dining guide, that she was in Raleigh at the time of the incident. And so she noticed a group of men clustered down the street from the restaurant. She said she counted 3 and pulled a red lever on the external power breaker. Shanti told the news. The group fled, and then an employee yelled at them. One returned and, gave the bird, and they ran off. Ashley did not respond to multiple requests to speak to the Citizen Times. So what does she bring at her restaurant? They said she makes a southern fish, and she is a highly decorated chef who burst onto Asheville food scene as the executive chef at Benny on Eagle, a restaurant on the block, Ashley's historically black neighborhood. She earned the James Byrd Award and a nomination during her tenure at the restaurant. Her star grew when she appeared on Bravo's Top Chef in 2022. Yeah, like I said, I looked her up, because I was curious about her restaurant and about her, and she has a very good reputation. She is labeled as a very good chef. So a lot of people want to say we are a nation of merit. Mars Hill University history professor and director of the Center for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Jonathan McCoy, told the Citizen's Time February 8th she was a Top Chef contestant. And a world-renowned people talk about how they come to Asheville if they want to eat at her place. Her character as a chef is top-notch. But because of her color, her gender, she is judged to be less. Good Hot Fish Shanti returned to Asheville's food scene. She teased diners throughout the fall with pop-ups. And, they said she's been in that area, so she sounds like she is from North Carolina. This is where she lived her whole life. So, in the black community, fish camps evolved out to be fish fries. And he notes that the camps and fries are not exclusive to the black community. Fish camps are businesses like barbecue stands that sell fish instead of meat, Miller said. Fish fries, he said, were a community gathering for enslaved people who typically worked on plantations until noon on Saturday, and then they had the weekend off before resuming work on Monday. During the time off, people would do activities that would supplement their diets, and that would be fish fries. Now, that was a good Black history lesson right there. That would get enough fish that they could preserve for the week, but then they would have to also have a feast. The fish fry was one of the most frequent ways that enslaved people would gather together and eat. Shanty is emblematic of what Miller called an exciting time for black food traditions. He said that she was one of many.
Now, that's part of the history. And guess what? Her descendants, with the previous video, they probably robbed her people for 40 acres of mule. And that's why Black Americans bring up that talk about reparations. We owe that. And see, from the past into the present, they still harass Black Americans when they pick themselves by bootstrap. So all you want to come over here, some of you people that come over here with that mindset that Black Americans are lazy, that didn't contribute, you don't know the whole freaking history. And it really offends some of us when you come over with that nasty attitude. And some of you come over with that mind. You don't know the whole history. You don't know America. And if we leave this month, you stay here, you cross this doggone country, you'll find, if you open up a bit, you'll come across the same damn thing. Watch. And you got an accent. You got a dialect. You think you're going to get above because of us? You don't know this country. I keep telling you, don't know. And some of you have been, and some of you have lost your lives behind trusting people who you think that was non-threatening in isolated places. There was some immigrants just like yourself. But as you're picking on one group who never really did what these people have done, they've done more to you than we ever did. But yet, you come over and think a few nice faces came to your country was palm colored as one got, and think it's all right, and think that the whole country. Well, I just keep down. You don't understand America. You don't understand the belly of the beast. Yeah, you can make your money here, but you'll still be a foreigner. And if we are the citizens that have been here longest, you need to respect us, because most of us ain't lazy, and most of us we don't mean no harm. And so when you offend us, but some of you that keep up with that mindset, you're gonna find out while you because it's gonna someone that's gonna look similar to me, like that Kenyan man. He gonna find out. He gonna find out. And that he gonna come across some people that don't give a damn, because they ain't gonna go ask you what country or what tribe you from. Watch. Keep on insulting us. Keep on dogging it. You're gonna see what we've been talking about. You're gonna be sorry. Some of you gonna be sorry. Some of the things you said about Black Americans, because it's gonna come back and hit you right in the face. Because when you get away, watch what's gonna happen. The same thing. And just like a Black American is mind their own business, it don't matter. You can't ignore ignorant people. Because somebody gonna show you their ignorance. It's a matter of time. So this is just to let you know. This is our history from past to present. That was me showing this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to point this out. But yeah, share this video, show, and I hope they come across this video with this mindset that we're lazy and we're incompetent. Because it's gonna show, no, we're not. You don't know the whole story. We have a culture, we have a history. What you see is what you've been programmed in. You're gonna find out. And that's why to my black people from America, you don't have to explain that no more. Let them find out. Let them find out. And hold back when the backlash come at some of them. Let them speak. They think that you guys are lazy. It's coming back. They're gonna find out what white supremacy is. Trust me, it's coming right at them. Because anybody that's been in this country know how white supremacy jump, and whatever part of the country you is, somebody's gonna bear it. They're gonna bear it. Well, I didn't do anything. I'm not like those people. I'm not like those black Americans. Watch this. It's coming. Watch. And you're gonna see you're gonna get justice or not. You're gonna piss one of these people off, these ignorant, backward ass individuals. They might even take a step on. That's what I said. Crisscross this country. Crisscross this country. You think America is prejudiced and we're lazy. And we ain't got no history. Crisscross this country. Go into them little towns. Be a truck driver. Especially be a truck driver. Stop in them little towns. Oh, they'd be glad to have you some little town. With you, and see whatever. Especially some of you ones that, some of you immigrants that look like myself. Oh, go down into parts of Georgia, Mississippi. Go through Arkansas. Oh, go up into some place in Illinois and Wisconsin. Oh, you're gonna find out. Watch. But you think because I'm this way. You're gonna find out. Because someone smiled come from our part of the country, went to your land. Watch. You ain't met the rest of them yet. Watch. Well, we ain't got no beef against you. We don't hate you. We ain't got no jealousy and animosity. We understand you trying to make it just like everybody else. But yet you got the animosity, jealousy, and envy towards us. Well, you're gonna be sorry. And when something happens, you're gonna see. We was the one we're the powder cake as black Americans that was shit things in this country. You turned your back on the wrong people. Y'all about to find out, and from here on out, who was really behind the struggle, what moved the whole groups of people. But you dogging us. Some of you have dogged us in this country, and you going now. It's time to get your brunt of what we've been through. You gonna get what you gonna see what we saw. And it don't matter how good you are, don't matter what party you are, watch when some ignorant individual come up to you. Because you have a foreign accent. And they're going to be like, you speak English, speak American. It's coming. It's coming. Keep the ones you look up as gods and, oh, they're the good people, some of the people good people. Watch how they're going to respond to you. Watch. Put up your country's flag in some parts of a small town. You think that the LGBTQ flag was something? Watch. The same thing that she encountered in North Carolina, same people come at you. Watch. You ain't been across this country. What? Your time is coming. You come at us and been mocking us, and some of you have been mocking us and for a while. Thinking that we got over. Okay. You slapped our hands so many times. Watch what's gonna happen. Crisscross America. You about to find out, and your friends about to find out coming from the border. You will find out what the real America is, especially when Trump get back in office. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you like and subscribe. Till next time, be blessed and take care.